welcome back and welcome to our second episode of Bestie Energy. I'm Alana.
I'm Clark.
And we are here to tell you another amazing story about another amazing woman. I last time told us the story of Catherine Wright. If you missed that, I don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah, this is episode 2, y'all. This is episode 2. Episode 1 is where you start.
So on this beautiful episode, Clark is going to tell us a story about another amazing woman.
It is Women's History Month. It's a great time to talk about women and all the incredible things that they do. Before we do that, though, I do have a couple of announcements. So, pardon my face at the beginning of this. I didn't realize we were re-recording the intro. So, Alana starts going, "Hey, besties." I was like, "Wait, what?"
She didn't know what was going on.
I didn't know what was going on. I'm lost. So, if you're not following us on all of our socials, we are at bestieenergythepod. You'll find us on YouTube. You'll find us on Spotify. You'll find us on TikTok. I am at Clark Unleashed on TikTok. You can also find me there. And we do have a Patreon. If you want to listen to these episodes early and ad-free, come and join our Patreon. It is patreon.com/bestierebellion. And if you are one of our first 1,000 subscribers, you will get access to a printable set of stickers designed by me and designed by Alana.
Very cute stickers.
They're adorable. We love them. And go and get them because after we hit 1,000 subscribers, they are gone. And you will also be getting a bonus episode on Patreon every month.
Yes, make sure you get access now.
Yes, get access now. Go and click immediately.
Now.
Pause the show. Go follow us. We are shamelessly advertising ourselves, but please go do it.
Please.
Yeah, we want to be podcasters. Like you got to admit, you want to listen to our podcast more than you want to listen to all these dude bro podcasts that are out there.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
finally the right people bought microphones. Go support us, please. We love you, besties. Yes. We love you. All right. That's enough advertising. So, have you heard of Madam C.J. Walker?
I have not. It's an unfamiliar name.
Okay, so what comes to mind when you think self-made millionaire?
The people that we put on magazines like Kylie Jenner and Donald Trump.
Are we calling them self-made?
No, but have you seen those like hilarious... It like turned into a meme for a little bit because it was like Time magazine or something would like put these, it was like on the front page and it would be like Kylie Jenner in like a black and white picture, so serious, and it would be like Kylie Jenner self-made. So that's kind of what I think of, is just the irony of what we think of as self-made, and it's not.
So I'm gonna say real quick, so you said, Kylie Jenner, that's a billionaire with a B.
Yeah,
I'm talking millionaire.
Yeah, I got nothing.
With a So, do you know anything about the first woman self-made millionaire?
I know nothing. I have no idea.
Okay, so when I say that, though, like, okay, let's talk about the woman who was the first self-made millionaire. What do you expect from that story? Like, what do you think is going to happen there?
Probably a woman who is white that invented, I don't know, like... the first actress or something, like, I don't know.
That's fair. I would probably think self-made millionaire would probably be like a Jenner story where it's like, okay, but her family was rich.
Yeah, no, like how we still hear today. Like what I'm saying today is we still consider some people self-made when they're really not.
So what if I told you that the first self-made woman millionaire was born to enslaved people?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. How do you even come up from that? What an incredible story.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Madam C.J. Walker was the first self-made the first self-made woman millionaire. And I just want to insert a caveat here. She wasn't the first self-made Black woman millionaire. Okay. She was the first self-made woman millionaire, period.
That's actually incredible. What time period was this, too?
So it's actually really funny because the story you told last week about Catherine Wright, she was born in 1874.
Yep.
Madam C.J. Walker was born in 1867.
Oh, so they're just walking around at the same time.
They were just existing at the same time as each other.
Yeah, two amazing women. Wow. Okay.
And it's crazy because we did not confer on our stories.
No.
So, Alana prepped her story to tell me, and I prepped my story to tell her completely independently of each other, and we just landed in the same time.
There you go. I know, it's kind of funny how that works.
No, it's crazy. So Madam C.J. Walker was actually born Sarah Breedlove.
Okay.
1867. That was 4 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed into law.
That's a tough time to be born in.
That is an extremely tough time.
Yeah, seriously.
So her parents' names were Owen and Minerva Anderson Breedlove.
Okay.
Both of them were enslaved their entire lives.
Oh my gosh.
And
how many kids did they have?
This I don't know. I know they had several.
They had several. Okay.
But they were freed by the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. Right. Obviously, the Civil War happened.
Yeah. What can you do? What can you do with that?
Yeah. So chaos, absolute chaos. And something that I don't think a lot of people understand is that, okay, the Emancipation Proclamation happened, but then where were enslaved people going to go?
No, seriously, like that, even though that happened and it ended, there were so many things that happened because of it that we're still affected from today.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if we're still seeing the repercussions 160 years later, like that math is right? Yeah, it's the 2020s. This 160. Yeah. 160 years later. Imagine, like just a few years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. Imagine the chaos. Imagine the culture. Imagine the cruelty happening.
Yeah, because just because that happened, it's not like people were like, oh, like we're like, well, we were wrong. Let's just
yeah. Here's a cookie.
I'm sorry.
And some money.
No, people were still like horribly racist and horrible to these people. Yeah, absolutely.
No, exactly. Yeah. I saw a TikToker once, and I can't think of the app right now, but she made a video about how when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, every enslaved person was supposed to receive a donkey and a cart, and I believe they were each supposed to receive some land. Don't quote me on the land part, but she did a calculation on what that would be worth today, and basically it would set people up for life.
Inflation. Yeah, no, for real. Like that little tad piece of land or a donkey or even anything to like set them up to success. To start, yeah.
Just start a life.
Wow.
And so let me just, spoiler alert. Do you think anybody received their donkey and cart?
No.
Nobody received a donkey and a cart.
Where's the donkeys?
Where are the donkeys?
Where are the donkeys?
USA? Where are they at?
Where are the carts?
Anyway, so I digress. But so basically what ended up happening in a lot of these cases was, so the Emancipation Proclamation happened, the Civil War happened, and it's like, congratulations, you are free.
Yeah, and then it's like these people are looking around like,
okay, great.
Are we? Like, what do we do now? Like, where do we go? What do we do? Like, so many people were affected by this and set back because of this.
No, exactly. And you've received no education.
Oh my gosh.
You've never been allowed to go anywhere, most likely. Being horribly abused your entire life. Mm-hmm. And not to mention, after all of this happened, white people were mad.
Oh yeah.
They're mad about it. This is a massive economic resource that they have just lost. And so it was a very hostile time. It was a very chaotic time. And a lot of these families, a lot of these people who had been enslaved actually ended up staying in the places where they had been enslaved.
That totally makes sense, because where would you go?
No, exactly.
Like, so they don't have resources for people who are like, I'll just go stay with my aunt in Florence or whatever. No, like, where are you going to go?
No, exactly. Like, oh, sure, I guess I'll go to college.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, and then you start to see people who are denied opportunities for education and not given opportunities to gain knowledge, and that keeps them down way more, because when you don't have this knowledge to be able to start your own career and get successful and just even know like about human rights around you, you can't do anything.
You're kept in ignorance and you can't move up in the world. And it's like it's this situation of like they freed everybody and then didn't give them the infrastructure to exist in the world.
Doesn't that make sense though?
No, of course it makes sense. Of course it does. And so I just quite frankly, I want to say like reading through this time period, reading through Sarah's life, the infrastructure that the Black community built themselves is incredible.
The way that they were able to just be so driven through that.
No, exactly.
Yeah, like determined. They were like, you're not going to put us down.
Yeah, exactly. To come up out of this and actually create something for yourself is amazing, and it needs to be recognized because it's powerful.
Especially as a woman.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to Sarah's stuff. You're getting ahead of it. You're getting ahead of the story.
Oh, what's up, guys? Ad break. This is Clark. Alana is not here. We totally forgot to film our ad breaks yesterday, so I'm just doing this all by myself before I upload these episodes. We don't currently have any ad partners, but if you would like to be an ad partner with us, which you totally should because we are totally cool and this podcast is going to be super, super epic. You can reach out to us at bestieenergythepod@gmail.com and make sure that you put interested in ads in the topic, the subject of your email. Thank you. I hope you guys have a beautiful and wonderful day. Back to the show. Bye-bye.
So, okay, so all of the, I just want to frame the time period. I want to frame what Sarah is coming from. So she was born in 1867 to her parents who had previously been enslaved. They are still living and working on the plantation where they had been enslaved.
So not much has changed.
Not much
has changed. Like they're maybe making some money at this point, right? A little bit.
Maybe. Tiny amount.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Wow.
So she was the first person born free in her family.
Can you imagine that pressure?
Or the weight of that?
That weight of just like, okay, like you're the one who has all these opportunities. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
exactly.
Sarah.
Exactly. So that's what she was born into. When she was 7 years old, both of her parents passed away from illness.
Both of them?
Both of them. So she was orphaned at 7.
That's a tough pill to swallow. Like, I don't even know. I don't remember a lot before I was 7, so I don't even know how she would have, like, memories from her parents. Like, that's horrible.
No, exactly. So now she's in this time period. She didn't even have her parents to protect her.
Oh my gosh.
7 years old. So luckily she did have an older sister, Lavinia.
Okay.
And she moved in with Lavinia and Lavinia's husband, Jesse Powell. I think it was Jesse Powell. Did I write that down? Yes, I did. Jesse Powell. She lived with them for the next 7 years.
Thank goodness she had somebody to like go stay with, because if it wasn't for that, like what would she have done?
Yeah, what becomes of you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
And so they went and moved around the South picking cotton for work.
Okay.
So essentially doing the same work that their parents and ancestors had done.
Yeah.
Because those were the only opportunities that
That's
they
the
could
options. Get. Yeah, like you didn't have an option.
Yeah. So growing up in extreme poverty. And unfortunately, Jesse Powell was extremely abusive to Sarah.
I don't even understand why. Like, this poor little girl has already gone through so much, lost both of her parents. Like, why? Why would you terrorize this little girl further?
No, exactly.
It's horrible.
And if you think about it, like, abusers really look for victims that have, a difficult past.
Yeah.
And they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so Sarah is a perfect victim. Lavinia was probably a perfect victim.
I don't even want to know how deep that goes. I don't want to know, but like that's horrible that she had to experience.
Well, and there weren't a lot of details, but I'm sure we can imagine.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We can imagine.
And it's so great that she had her sister there, but it's like, as my sister, like, I wonder if she knew that was going on, like her sister, like if she could have.
Well, and I imagine both of them were probably being abused.
Right. No, exactly, because it's like if she's being abused, I'm sure the sister was too.
So it was a very unhappy time period for Sarah.
That's so sad too, because she just went through what I can imagine was one of the biggest tragedies of her life, to go into another situation where she's just being abused. Oh my gosh, this poor baby.
Yeah, exactly. So at 14 years old, she saw an opportunity to get out of this and get out of this abusive household, and she jumped at it. At 14 years old, she married a man named Moses McWilliams to escape from the abuse.
She's so young, but I mean, you got to get out of that situation. What are you going to do?
Well, and exactly. And if you think about it, at that time period for a woman, and particularly for a Black woman, I mean, what is she supposed to do? Just strike out on her own?
No, seriously, like, you really don't have opportunities at all given to you. So
no, exactly. Like,
she made the right call for herself. 100%.
No, exactly. Exactly. So you can imagine being 14 years old. It's not like she went to college.
I mean, no. You barely have any experience as it is.
No, exactly.
Well, she's been abused her whole life.
Yeah, exactly. She's been working her whole life. So she's had very little in the way of education. Mm-hmm. She didn't get to go to college. She wasn't, nothing. There weren't opportunities for her.
No. As we can see, that seems to be a trend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, there aren't humble beginnings more humble than this.
No, absolutely. Like, this is just very hard to hear already. So I'm excited to see how she can turn it around.
See how her life improves.
Yeah.
So I will say this: Moses was the first of 3 husbands for Sarah.
Sarah wasn't taking nothing from no man. She said, "Next, I'm not dealing with nothing." I love that for her.
And I think there's people who would like side eye that and be like, "Oh, she had 3 husbands," but no, that is the sign of an empowered woman who is not taking any crap from anybody.
Especially at the time period, like
especially at the time period,
yeah,
extremely uncommon. So, although granted, her first husband died.
Oh.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Well, sorry, Moses.
Yeah. It was sorry, Moses. So they got married when she was 14. They had a daughter named Lilia when Sarah was only 18.
Such a young age, and she was already getting all of these kinds of responsibilities to her.
Exactly. So she's a wife. She's a mother. This is in 1885. She had her daughter. So Lilia was later known as Alilia.
Okay.
And what's really cool, so I'm getting most of my information from a website called madamecjwalker.com.
Okay.
And that was actually set up by Madam C.J. Walker. So Sarah, Madam C.J. Walker's great-great-granddaughter,
Wow.
who shares the name Alilia.
That's awesome. So she's out there sharing her story?
Yeah, exactly. So she actually is her great-great-grandmother's biographer. So she's published books about her, and the website is great. Like, definitely go check it out, and you can read all about her. It's amazing. I think it's really, really cool that she's carrying on her family legacy.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for her, I'm sure the story would just die out. Like, it's vital for somebody to be like, you need to listen to the story. This is what happened, and also the true events, the real things that happened, not just rumors of what happened.
No, exactly. Because and so often we see women being lost to history. Yeah, powerful, incredible women. And so, you told us about Catherine Wright last time, and I had never even heard of her.
Right, and then it's Catherine did so much work for her brothers, making sure their story was told correctly. So I feel like we see that a lot in history, people trying to make sure their stories are told correctly, which only makes me think of how many stories that we've heard throughout history that are just wrong.
No, exactly.
So many. I mean, so many.
And it's, and especially when it comes to women, I think you just see them disappear.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really, really, really incredible that her granddaughter is keeping her story alive, and you guys should definitely go and check out her website.
I'm going to. Yeah.
So, okay. So she had a daughter, 18 years old. 2 years later, so she's got a 2-year-old daughter. Sarah is only 20 years old.
She's a baby.
She's a baby. Girl, what are you talking about? You're 22.
I know, I'm 22.
You're 22.
I recognize how young I am. There's so much to learn. There's so much life. The difference of me at 20 to now is very different.
Okay.
Could you agree?
Yeah. No, I agree. But it was just funny.
I just think 20 is so young too. 22 is young too. I don't know.
It is. It was just really funny to hear you be like, oh, she's a baby. And I'm like,
you're a baby.
Ma'am, I beg your pardon.
I need to shut up.
No, don't shut up. This is a podcast. You definitely shouldn't shut up. Okay, so 20 years old, that's when Moses died.
She has this baby, a 2-year-old at this point.
She has a 2-year-old. She's alone.
Her husband just died.
And
she's in the South.
She's a black woman in the South in the 1800s, single mom, 2-year-old daughter, 20 years old.
And I mean, for you, you can testify how hard it is to be a single mom today as a white woman. Oh my gosh.
Today. It's terrible. It's very, very exhausting. Yeah. I'm tired constantly.
Oh yeah. I'm witness to that. So
I do not sleep. Send help.
This is Clark. This is an ad break, and Alana is not here. We totally forgot to film our ad breaks yesterday. I think I said that in the other ad break, so you guys are probably sick of hearing this. I'm going to plug our Patreon again because we don't currently have any ad partners, and ads are annoying. I personally don't want to listen to ads. I know you guys don't. So if you want to get these episodes early and ad-free and also have access to a bonus episode plus a Bestie Energy Zoom call live every single month, then you should go to patreon.com/Bestie Rebellion. And I know it's /Bestie Rebellion and not Bestie Energy, but that is because my personal social media platform is the Bestie Rebellion. And right now we are branching Bestie Energy off of that. So maybe someday Bestie Energy will have its very own website and Patreon, but as of right now, it does not. So go check us out, patreon.com/Bestie Rebellion. Hope to see you guys there. Bye.
So Sarah is now a single mom, 20 years old, got a 2-year-old daughter, and she no husband. She's alone. So she moved to St. Louis, where she actually had 4 brothers who were there working as barbers.
Oh, so she got her haircut for free. She didn't have to worry about that. No, I'm just kidding.
I wasn't even thinking about that, but yes.
Out of everything to worry about, that is not what to worry about. But
yeah. So she went to stay. Well, it's funny that you say that because she would actually become quite concerned with hair. But she went to stay with her brothers, and she was working as a laundress and a cook.
So she was starting at the bottom.
The very bottom. Sometimes she was only making $1 a day.
Oh my gosh. I mean, even to today's standards, what that was, that's still so low.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So we're still.
Baby.
She was a baby, and
No, she has a baby.
She was a baby who had a baby.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So she, it was a fraught time. Like this girl just can't win.
No, I mean, like it's a trend of just things that are just setting her up for hard times.
Yeah.
The
Like
way
she could have easily just had such a difficult life. I mean, she
Oh,
did have a difficult
yeah.
life, but you know what I mean. Like
it could have gone a very different way.
Yeah. Exactly. So during this time period, she actually did, despite all of that, she was very, very driven to provide her daughter with the life and the opportunities that she wasn't able to have.
Of course. So many single mothers, well, and mothers in general do that. They want their kids to have the opportunities. That
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think a lot of us relate to that. That it's, yeah, I don't know. When it comes to your babies, man.
You'd sacrifice everything.
Everything.
I mean, even my nephew, your baby, he's not even my baby. And oh my gosh, I did anything for that kid.
Yeah, don't. She's like a grizzly bear. It's frightening. Don't get between her and my son.
I love him.
Yeah, you'll lose an arm or something.
Yeah, he's got a good auntie.
He does. Actually, he calls her TT.
TT, yeah.
He's got a good TT. So anyway, so she's working really hard, but she actually saved up enough money to send her daughter to school.
Oh my gosh. That's it. That's actually incredible because that's what she wanted to go do and it was hard for her to do it.
Yeah.
So she's enabling her daughter to be able to do that. And like I said before, school and knowledge is so important to being able to build a career and have success.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Exactly. And I mean, again, think about the time period. This is what, 20 years after emancipation? I imagine schools definitely segregated,
Oh yeah.
not well funded. Finding teachers is probably difficult. I mean, we still have this problem that schools aren't being well funded and all of this stuff. So
and teachers are struggling to like get together and educate. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. Like we have a teacher shortage. It's, even now, like education is difficult. But back then, I imagine getting her daughter into consistent schooling must have been really, really difficult.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing that she did that for her daughter.
Yeah. And during that time period, I mean, it was still standard for kids to work. And so the fact that she was like, no, sorry, there's something in my eye. But interruption. But the fact that she was so focused on getting her child an education and not making her child work, despite having worked her whole life,
she wanted her daughter to have those opportunities. And
yeah.
She didn't. It's plain and simple, but it's so beautiful.
Yeah. It is beautiful. So she was an incredible woman. She joined a church called the St. Paul AME Church. And so if you think about it, before this time period, her whole life, I mean, she was born to people who had been enslaved. She was born on a plantation. She spent her life picking cotton. She was abused. Nothing in this life would have given her any indication or hope or confidence that she could be successful.
No, I mean, I would feel pretty hopeless. Like that's a pretty hard start.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would imagine that you're just you just see your life and it's like, well, this is what life is.
Yeah, and I imagine she started to develop some faith from this church that she went to and get motivation.
Well, so she already had faith. But she joined this church. And actually at that church, she met a lot of Black women who had been successful.
Wow. So she actually got to get an opportunity of seeing people that she could be like.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly. So all of the sources that I read about said that this completely altered her mindset in life.
Turning point.
It was a big turning point. Like she really saw representation of what she could be.
I mean, that totally makes sense because if you think about, again, we keep saying the time period, but it's like that time we didn't have successful Black women. Are you kidding me? I mean, we did, but they weren't advertised.
No, exactly.
They weren't like publicized.
People weren't
talking about it. People weren't like flaunting it. People weren't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, everything in society was geared towards keeping people down.
100%.
Exactly.
People, yeah. Exactly. So it's like the fact that she got to be able to see people who were succeeding that were like her. That's so big.
Exactly. Representation matters. It absolutely matters. I mean, would we be doing this if we didn't see other women? Like, what if every single podcast was just run by the podcast bros?
Right.
Would we be doing this? I don't know.
It would be hard to be the first people to do it because when you don't have somebody who's done it before you, it's so hard to be that first person to make the steps.
Yeah, it feels like you don't belong in a space.
It's so important.
Exactly. Yeah. So they completely altered her mindset. Also during this time, she met and married her second husband, whose name was John Davis.
No disrespect to John Davis, but that's just such like John Smith. Like just
that is a basic name. Yeah, basic.
Yeah, basic, John.
No disrespect to John, though.
I know nothing about him. I'm like,
yeah. Sorry, John. But it sounds like the marriage was maybe a flight of passion.
Oh, it was a blip.
It was a blip because every single source that I found on Madam C.J. Walker did not go into this marriage at all.
It was just like, let's pretend that didn't happen.
It was literally one line in every single one. It was like, she met and married John Davis, but the marriage was troubled and they divorced immediately.
And then like the other husbands, it's like 4 paragraphs.
Yeah. The other husbands, it's like, oh, he was doing this or that, or they did this together, or they had a child together. This one was like, yeah, they met, they got married, they got divorced.
Well, sounds like that was what was meant to be.
Yeah, sounds like it wasn't meant.
Yeah.
But after this, so soon after this, Sarah actually developed a scalp condition that caused her hair to start falling out.
I wonder if it was from all the stress. Like, oh my god.
It sounds like it was like a condition, like a medical condition, and she lost more than 50% of her hair.
As a woman who is very like in love with hair in my hair and like
very attached to it,
that's horrible. Like that's mentally such a hard thing to go through.
No, exactly. It's painful. And, you know, especially at that time, I mean, even now, women's worth is or beauty is very much tied to their hair. And so I can imagine back then, you know, it would be, you know, it'd be humiliating. It'd be humiliating just have your hair falling out of your head.
It is humiliating, and it's hard to find confidence when you're feeling so insecure in yourself. So.
Exactly. So she started trying all kinds of remedies to stop her hair from falling out.
As I would. I mean, I would literally be putting bird poop in my hair if I knew that would help my hair grow back. I don't care. Girl, if it helped my hair grow back, I don't care.
Where the heck did you come up with bird poop?
It was like the first thing that came to my mind that was gross. I heard rosemary helps.
I don't know that I would put bird poo in my hair.
If you lost your hair and that was the only thing that could save your hair, I'd be putting bird poop in my hair.
I wear hijab, so...
It doesn't matter. But... I would do
it. She would do it. Okay. Wow. Bird poo. All right. Well, luckily she wasn't putting bird poo in her hair.
I'm glad that wasn't like the first thing she went for. Maybe like let's try some like herbs and rosemary and like some other things.
I don't think she ever tried bird poo. I don't think it was. I don't think it made the list.
Okay, I withdraw what I said.
So she's looking around for remedies, and I mean I'm sure you can imagine that at that time, I keep saying at that time period. But, I mean, even today, I'm sure you can imagine that the hair market wasn't exactly geared towards Black women.
No, especially because now we have, like, so many products for different types of hair because we recognize that there's so many different types of hair. You know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of get a specific product. Like, even you and me, I mean, we're of the same race, and, like, we use different hair products because we have different hair.
That's true. We have completely different hair textures.
Exactly. Different hair types. So it's, like, that would be horrible to just be losing your hair and not have access to anything that would help you.
No, exactly. And you know, even today, even with having more products for different types of hair, I know that there are many women who are fighting to have their natural hair be respected and
oh my gosh, yeah,
be able to wear it and, you know, have the access to be able to take care of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just having the access, simply like you said, to be able to take care of it.
Exactly. Access matters. And so she's looking around for remedies. And luckily there was at the time a Black woman entrepreneur, Annie Malone, who made Miracle Growth products for Black hair.
Annie's cool. She made her own product. That's
she
awesome.
She did. And what we will see is that this kind of, you know, Sarah was already feeling inspired from this church community she'd been a part of.
Yeah.
Annie, I would say, inspired her even more.
I'm sure because she's like, here's a product I've been looking for. Did it help her?
It did. It did help her.
Awesome.
And she actually moved to Denver in 1905 to work as a sales agent for Annie Malone.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. So she actually moved and got into her business.
Well, she got into Annie's business.
That's what I mean by Annie's business.
Yeah. So she was so inspired by this product that she was like, you know what? Let me work for this company.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So while she was in Denver, she married her third husband.
Okay. Number 3. Third time's a charm.
Charles Joseph Walker.
So that's where we get the name Walker from. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's where we get the name Walker.
Charles.
And he worked in ads at a local newspaper.
Okay.
So a very strategic marriage here.
She's smart.
She is
She
smart.
knew what she was doing. Like, she was really like, I see you, Charles. I see what you're doing.
You
And
see
could
Charles
prove-
or you see Sarah?
No, she was thinking, I see you, Charles. That's why she married him.
Maybe she loved him.
No, I mean, because she was like seeing what he was doing with his job is what I'm saying.
I see. Yeah, he did end up being a good resource for her. So she refashioned herself as quote unquote Madam C.J. Walker. I love the confidence. I love that that's how she decided to present herself to the world. She's like, you know what? I am here. I am beautiful. I'm amazing. You will call me Madam.
That's a very strong title too. Madam C.J. Walker.
Yes, very, very strong. So she refashioned herself as Madam C.J. Walker and she founded her own business.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
This is where it gets very interesting.
Yes. So I think it was for over a year, she had been working on her own hair formula.
Okay. And this was after she tried Annie's and she's like, I can do this too?
Yes, and after she worked with Annie.
Okay.
Yeah. So she came up with her own hair formula and called it Madam Walker's Wonderful Hair Grower.
Okay, that's quite a title. That is like, I'm picturing like an old-fashioned, like, almost like Harry Potter style, like, potion bottle.
Oh my gosh.
Like, very fancy.
I can see it. So she advertised it as having been revealed to her in a dream.
Oh, that's enticing.
Isn't
I'd
it?
purchase that.
I'd purchase that.
That's so enticing.
I'd buy that. I'd be like, what do you mean? You have a hair product that was revealed to you by God? Okay, she didn't say by God, but
in her dream.
in a dream. In a dream. So she came up with the product and got her husband to help her advertise it.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying she saw Charles, saw what he was doing, and there's a little seed in her brain was like, I could use that.
Or it could have been God.
I'm sorry.
Could have been God. Could have been that she just happened to fall in love with a man who was perfectly poised to help her.
Yeah.
Could be. But let's, there's this line from not Pretty Woman, Little Women that I really, really love that was like, let's not pretend that marriage isn't an economic proposal for women because it is. Especially at that time period. So.
Especially. No, I mean, that's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. So even if she did make that decision based on what. Exactly. Even if she did make that decision based on what he could bring to the table. I mean, don't we all?
The woman has been through hard times.
Yes, she was done.
She needed an opportunity. It's like that thing where you said, it's like, I know I can do that. I choose not to.
She's quoting Miranda Bailey from Grey's Anatomy. She hasn't seen it, but
I haven't.
Yeah. I was telling her the other day. There's a scene in Grey's Anatomy where somebody was kicking something back at Miranda Bailey, being like, "Why can't you do it?" And she goes, "I can. I choose not to."
I can, but I don't want to.
Exactly. So, her husband was helping her with advertisements, and they actually got their start as a mail order business.
Okay.
And I think that was really common back then. I feel like this was the same time period as like mail order brides.
Oh, really?
Maybe that was earlier. Actually,
Yeah,
I feel like that was when we were colonizing the West. Right?
Yeah, I'm not too sure when that was a thing. I have no experience on mail order brides.
It still just blows my mind that was a thing.
Right? Someone was like, "Yep."
I'm just gonna put an advertisement in a newspaper. And no, the most wild thing to me, I'm like, we feel so rightfully nervous about meeting somebody off of Tinder or something.
Oh my gosh,
right? And just imagine looking at an ad in a newspaper from across the country and being like, bet.
That's some confidence right there.
That is some confidence.
What if you go out there and they just like are horrible? Like your personalities are clashing completely. Like you guys don't get along at all.
Or like you get out there and he's like 85 years old.
Or if you get out there and he's abusive as hell. Like
probably happened a lot.
Oh man.
I mean, we say like, oh, that's some confidence. Probably some desperation is what it is. My goodness. Wow. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, so they started as a mail order business and demand was high.
I'm sure it was. I mean, there's not a product like this. I mean, was Annie's product like pretty much...
It was similar, but I wonder if maybe Annie wasn't like going as hard on the advertising side.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know exactly. But I mean, if you think about it, 2 products in the whole country.
Oh my gosh. No, and it's like it's so common for like several different laundry detergents or different air fresheners to be out. So like, no, it's totally reasonable. She changed the product. She made it her own and advertised her own.
Well, I don't think it was based on Annie's product.
No, but she was inspired by Annie.
Yeah. I just want to be really clear. I'm not saying she based her product on Annie's product. She made up her own formula.
Okay.
But I'm sure she was inspired by seeing another Black woman doing a similar.
Well, especially when that product helped her. Yeah.
Exactly. And she wanted to help other Black women.
Yeah.
Yeah. So demand was high. And so pretty soon she actually went traveling all around the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yes.
Right.
So she took matters into her own hands.
Oh, she did.
Took her product and went, and she was demonstrating it in churches, community centers, all kinds of places, and just demonstrating how the product worked.
That's intimidating.
That's terrifying.
That's intimidating because if you think about it, it's like going around the whole world, or not the whole world, but the whole US. Like that's scary to just go out to these people that you don't know, try to pitch your product and sell it to them and be confident with yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
That's
And
impressive.
being a woman,
woman.
being a black woman at that time, we keep saying at that time, but like it's important, y'all.
It's
like
important to remember. Like that's impressive.
It's extremely impressive. And I mean, okay, I lived in the South, y'all. I lived in Alabama for 3 years.
Alabama.
It was interesting, to say the least. It was an interesting time in my life.
I will say it's very green.
It was very green. It looked like The Hobbit.
That's all I'm gonna say.
It was pretty. It was pretty. I won't lie. The land was pretty. But I mean, there were parts of the South that like it's not quite safe to travel through.
Yeah.
And especially for a black person.
100%.
It's not a safe traveling situation. So the courage that she would have had to be traveling all around the South, being successful, selling a product is incredibly impressive.
No, it is. Like I have no words. Like that is so impressive. I wonder where her daughter was during this time.
I'm not sure. I didn't find a source on that. I did see some say that she took her with her.
Okay.
But I don't quote me on that because I'm not completely positive.
But either way, I'm sure she was making sure to provide for her.
Exactly. She was doing all of this for her.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
like you see with so many women and so many, especially single mothers, like just get motivation from their kids, and that's where their drive comes from.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible.
Exactly. So in 1910, she and her husband divorced.
Okay. Are there any reasons on that?
I didn't see any. And what I think is actually interesting about this is, so like I said, it was her great-great-granddaughter who's like writing her biography, all of these things. I love how her great-great-granddaughter did not focus on the men at all.
No, she was like, it's not about them. It's not their story. Go ask their grandkids about what
Yes, go ask their grandkids.
That's hilarious. I wonder what Charles did, though. Was it a bad advertisement? Like, was she not happy with that?
What I would put my money on is she started being successful.
He didn't like it.
Either he didn't like it, or maybe they had creative differences.
Creative differences. That's such a broad term to say of just like, he didn't support me.
Oh, exactly. He wanted my money.
Creative differences.
She probably wanted her own bank account. I know, the audacity.
Sorry, not to say the audacity.
No, so they divorced, and once again, like, there was just no details. It was just like, yep, he was out.
And he was gone.
He was outie.
Next.
But actually, there wouldn't be a next. She didn't marry anybody else.
So, but she, next with her life is what I mean.
No, exactly. And this is where you will see, and so the reason why I think that...
Hello, ad break, since you guys love these.
Yeah, exactly. So we are actually going to advertise for the amazing, incredible artist who created our cover art for our Patreon. It is the most amazing and wonderful Lee. Go and follow them at Leaning Tower of Pizza on TikTok and Instagram. It's spelled LEENINGTOWER Pizza. PIZZA.
I love their name. Leaning Tower of Pizza. I love that.
Lee is amazing. They sing, they do art, they are an activist who talks about important social issues. Go check them out. And if you would like to advertise with us.
Yes, because wouldn't that be an awesome opportunity?
It would be such a great opportunity for you. I mean, listen to us. We're going to be famous. You want to advertise with us. But reach out to us at bestieenergythepod@gmail.com.
Please, what are you waiting for?
Yeah. And for the rest of you, go join the Patreon, because why are you listening to ads?
I know. We're like... Oh, sorry. Do you want to do that one again? That one. Ugh, I didn't know what to say. I'm sorry.
No, I thought that was good. Okay. I love how her great-great-granddaughter did not focus on the men at all.
No, she was like, it's not about them. It's not their story. Go ask their grandkids about what
Yes, go ask their grandkids.
That's hilarious. I wonder what Charles did, though. Was it a bad advertisement? Like, was she not happy with that?
What I would put my money on is she started being successful.
He didn't like it.
Either he didn't like it, or maybe they had creative differences.
Creative differences. That's such a broad term to say of just like, he didn't support me.
No, exactly. He wanted my money.
Creative differences.
She probably wanted her own bank account. I know, the
Sorry,
audacity.
not to say the audacity.
No, but no, so they divorced, and once again, like, there was just no details. It was just like, yep, he was out.
And he was gone.
He was outie.
Next.
Next. But actually, there
No.
wouldn't be a next. She didn't marry anybody else.
Well,
after
but
that.
she, next with her life is what I mean.
No, exactly. And this is where you will see, and so the reason why I think that maybe her husband was holding her back
Mm-hmm.
is because her life and her business really took off after this.
That makes so much sense, though. If,
Mhm.
like, he was holding her back. Like, the second they divorced, she's like, I got this.
Exactly.
Because
exactly.
It in most cases, like, getting a divorce would actually, like, make that harder. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I mean, imagining that he was, like, helping with their kid, and I'm not sure, but, like, that would make so much things harder. So the fact that she actually got her business booming from there, Charles, you weren't helping out.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because you know, like, when our mom got divorced, that was kind of like a pit in our life. Like, that was a down period just after the divorce, and I think that's true for a lot of people. So no, you make a really good point. Like, the fact that everything for her just exploded after this, I really feel like he was maybe holding her back.
That's what it sounds like, Charles.
Yeah, so I just love that she's a woman who's just, like, not taking any crap, and she's just like, you know what?
She clearly didn't need the help. Like,
Exactly.
she's fine. And, like, I was all saying before, like, oh, she used Charles to, like, for this advertising. They divorced and she went on from there. Like, she didn't need him.
Exactly. She didn't need him.
She
She
is
did
fine.
not need him. So we were not trying to imply that she needed him
Yeah, she's
to
doing
make her
fine.
business. She's doing great.
Yeah.
That's why we were saying the whole, I choose not to.
Yeah, I
Like,
choose not to. Yeah.
Exactly. So after they divorced, she relocated to Indianapolis. So she went and moved across the country.
Yeah, she's like, peace.
Yeah, she was like, goodbye, sir. And she was so successful at this point that when she got to Indianapolis, she built a factory.
Oh, like she built a factory?
I mean,
Like she designed a whole factory?
I don't know if she designed it, but she...
No, she's the boss. Like, she's not out there with the hammer. She's
I was like, I don't think
people.
she's stacking bricks.
I mean, like, she's designing it. Like, she's telling people what to do.
I was like, ma'am, her manual labor days are well behind her. So no, I don't think she built it. But no, she did build a factory for her company, which she called the Walker Manufacturing Company.
Okay.
So she was absolutely brilliant about her business model.
Okay.
So, okay, you know how we have, like, Mary Kay?
Oh, yeah.
And they're really smart about how they get, I mean, Mary Kay's an MLM, but, like, they train up Mary Kay reps to, like, go forth and sell.
We see this in so many brands, too, not just with makeup, but yes, so many brands, like, have representatives that go and sell their product. But yeah, was she, like...
She was one of the first people to do it.
Oh my gosh, what a genius.
She was one of the first people to do it. And so her whole stance, so it wasn't like an MLM. So, like, I worked for Mary Kay, and I can say that they kind of take advantage of you, because what they do is you buy the product, and then you only make a profit when you sell it. And so actually where Mary Kay gets a lot of their profit is from their reps buying their product. Pyramid scheme, MLM. That's not what Madam C.J. Walker was doing.
No.
Her whole purpose was that she wanted to now that she had come up so far, she wasn't just closing the door behind her.
She was helping other women succeed.
She was specifically helping other Black women to succeed.
Wow. Like, that is incredible to not only just, like, want to create wealth for yourself, but also build other people up with you. What an amazing woman.
Exactly. She was building others.
I feel like Annie kind of did that for her, too. Like, I don't know if she ever actually met Annie. I'm sure she did. She worked for her company. But it's like, I'm sure that Annie kind of did that for her, too. And then, like, the fact that she's able to do this for so many other women and create opportunities for them.
And you think about these women that she met in that church that just first revealed to her that, like, there is another life.
It's like a snowball effect.
It is.
It's like you're impacting someone else's life and they go and impact someone else's life. Like, you're making a really big difference.
No, exactly. It's really incredible when we start supporting each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So as soon as she found her success, she wanted to bring up other Black women and give them economic success and power. And that became kind of her mission. And so what she did was she opened training programs all over the country to train other Black women in selling and using what she coined as her quote-unquote Walker system hair care.
Okay. So she gave women the opportunity that they needed.
Yes, and they earned very healthy commissions.
Oh, that's awesome.
On their sales.
So it wasn't like pyramid scheme. Like,
no, exactly. She really, really created a system where they were taking her product all over the country and, finding success themselves.
Wow.
So, and if you think about it, like if you think about where she came from, and she came from a time period where the only opportunities was to work as a laborer. You could be a laundress, you could be a cook, you could pick cotton.
You couldn't even like what we were talking about with like Catherine Wright in the last story about how she only had the options of being a nurse and a teacher. Like they didn't even
and
have
that was for a white woman.
Right. And like she didn't even have that opportunity. Oh
no, exactly. And so she really, really just kicked down the door.
Yeah, clearly.
To bring other Black women out of poverty.
If I was her daughter, I don't know how old her daughter is at this point. I'm imagining
she's about 15, 16.
Yeah. So at a good age of starting to get influenced by her mom. And it's like, I'd be so motivated by my mom. I'd be so
impressive.
So like honored to be her daughter. Oh my gosh.
So impressive. So
and the pressure though.
not only was she taking this all over the country, she went international.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah. So wow. she took her product, she took the system, and she hired reps and workers in Central America and the Caribbean as well.
She just didn't take no for an answer.
No, absolutely not. She was literally kicking down the door and being like, we are here, we are free, and we will be successful.
That's amazing. What an inspiring story, though, for so many other women, so many other Black women at the time that got opportunities because of her.
No, exactly. She is like the definition of bestie energy.
Yeah, like you're coming up and you're supporting other people. Kind of like, I know you do that for me too. Like when you get opportunities, like we help each other out and stuff. And it's like
women supporting women, man. Women supporting women. We do such incredible things when women support women.
Yes, absolutely.
So at her company's peak, she was employing over 40,000 Black women and men in the U.S., across the continent, across Central America, and the Caribbean. And I think I just said across the continent and across Central America. I think Central America is part of the continent.
40,000.
Over
like just
40,000.
a moment, like just think about how much that is. Like I can't even comprehend 40,000 like dollars. Like people, 40,000 people you're helping. That's such a difference.
And I mean, and of course, like even with their healthy commissions that they're earning, her company is raking in the dollars.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm surprised she stopped at a millionaire. I know. Like,
see, and this is what I'm saying. This is how we say bestie energy, because she was helping people so much. She wasn't a multi-millionaire.
100%. Yep.
So, like, even at the time period, even factoring in inflation, she would have earned a whole lot more if she was only focused on herself.
But it wasn't about that.
It wasn't about that.
The whole... I love that she took other people helping her and instilled that inside of her to do that, the same thing for other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what's really cool about this, so she actually hosted one of the first ever, it may have been the first ever, I'm not sure, but it was absolutely one of the first ever national meetings for businesswomen.
That's so badass. She would put that on her resume.
She doesn't need a resume.
No, I know, but that's amazing. Like,
she's never working for anybody else ever again. She is the boss lady.
Oh yeah, that's amazing though.
So she hosted this national meeting in Philadelphia in 1917, and it was called, and this is a mouthful. You ready for this?
Oh yeah.
It was called the Walker Hair Culturist Union of America Convention.
Can we do like a WA? Wait, where is it?
The Walker Hair Culturists Union of America Convention.
So we'll do WHCUAC for short.
That's not short. It's a heck of a mouthful.
Oh my god.
She maybe needed like a social media manager.
Yeah.
To work on that name. No offense, Madam CJ Walker, but that's a heck of a title.
Running a business, I don't have time for titles.
She's like, it's to the point.
Yeah.
It says what it is.
Yeah, we don't need this.
But so at this convention, she both rewarded her hair culturists for their business success, and then she also encouraged them to pursue political activism.
Wow. So she was out here encouraging other people to stand up for their rights.
She was. She absolutely was. And so I've got a quote from her here that she said at the convention. And I disagree with her on the first sentence. I'm not going to lie. Just a little bit, maybe. But then I also wonder, again, we're thinking about the time period, and she's trying to keep her company safe. She's trying to keep her people safe. So I wonder if that's part of it. But so she said, "This is the greatest country under the sun." Pause for effect.
Yeah.
"This is the greatest country under the sun, but we must not let our love of country, our patriotic loyalty, cause us to abate one whit in our protest against wrong and injustice. We should protest until the American sense of justice is so aroused that such affairs as the East St. Louis riot be forever impossible.
Mic drop right there.
Yes.
Wow.
So do we know what the East St. Louis riot was?
Not a lot about it, no.
Okay,
Really,
so
no.
I don't have the whole history written down here,
Okay.
but this is going to get into the activism and philanthropy side of Madame C.J. Walker.
Okay.
Because
she
she
didn't
felt...
just do hair, you guys. She did not just do hair.
She did not just do hair. And, you know, honestly, her doing hair was a form of empowerment, but she was extremely passionate about building up the Black community, bringing up the Black community,
Absolutely.
you know, advocating for the Black community, as you would be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So in 1917, content warning here for everybody for racial violence and lynching. In 1917, a white mob murdered over 36 Black individuals, lynched over 36 Black individuals in East St. Louis.
I don't even know, like that would affect you so much. Oh my gosh. I mean, it affects me right now so much. Like at the time, like she's living in that area. Those are her family. Like those are her friends and family. That's the community she lives with.
Well, I mean, she was living in Indianapolis.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But she had lived in St. Louis,
right?
For a good chunk of her life.
Oh my gosh.
It's horrific. Is what it is. It's horrific.
No, it is horrific. It's disgusting.
It is. It absolutely is. And you know, and I thought about putting the whole story in here, but there's nothing that justifies that. That's the only sentence that you need, is that a white mob murdered over 36 people. I don't care what led up to it. That I don't even know everything that led up to it. It doesn't matter. That sentence is the only part that matters. So Madam C.J. Walker was actually a part of a group of Black leaders who went to the White House and presented a petition to pass anti-lynching legislation. Which,
the fact that she even had to. Are you kidding? Like, the fact that she even had to be like, let's not.
The fact that that's even a word, anti-lynching legislation, why does that need to be a thing?
Right? Oh my god, like, what a stupid thing to have to fight for. And it is a very important thing. I'm very, very, very glad she did fight for, but like
murder is murder. Where are we confused?
No, like, of
the look you just gave me. So that's what she was talking about in her speech at the convention. That such affairs as the East St. Louis riot be forever impossible. She was extremely passionate about this.
She was very affected by it, of course. I mean, like, who wouldn't be?
Who wouldn't be?
She would also have lived there. Like, that's...
It's
even
horrifying.
if she didn't, but, like...
She has a child in this world.
Oh, my God.
Like,
she's traveling around, like, the U.S., like, we had talked about before, like, putting her safety out there. Oh, my God.
Exactly. So she was extremely passionate about civil works and outreach. So once she found success, not only was she bringing up the Black community by offering jobs and education, she donated, and at this time this was a lot of money, she donated $1,000 to build a Black YMCA in Indianapolis.
Oh.
And I mean, I think now we think of the YMCA as like a gym.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm like, what is that before?
But back in the day, I mean, it was much more of like a community center.
Okay.
You know, so it was a place to be, you know. So she was carving out spaces.
Yeah, for people to have access to opportunities that they've never had, too.
Yeah, and like, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And she donated $5,000. It was a lot of money at that time. $5,000 to the NAACP and their efforts. They were working for Black civil rights. They were working against lynching that was happening.
Wow.
And she donated $5,000 to their efforts.
You can see how passionate she was about it. And I mean, it's so clear to me now why she didn't become, you know, a multimillionaire or anything. Like, that's
that she wasn't more successful. Yeah, exactly.
She could have been. I mean, she could have been if she wanted to be, but she wasn't selfish.
Madam C.J. Walker was Bestie Energy. I will die on that hill. When we say eat the rich, she doesn't count. So she also, on top of all of this, I mean, as you can imagine, education was extremely important to her.
Oh, yeah, because she didn't get that, and she knew how valuable it is.
Exactly.
You know, yeah.
Exactly. So she actually went and paid for the tuition of African-American students at the Tuskegee Institute.
I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Like, that, I have no other words besides that's fucking amazing.
She was incredible.
Like, wow.
She was incredible.
And I'm sure, like, that helped so many other people become successful.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. She really made it her life's work to bring people
She
up.
did, yeah.
She really did. So ultimately, Madam C.J. Walker amassed a net worth of over $1 million, and she owned properties in Irvington, New York, Harlem, Chicago, Pittsburgh, and St. Louis.
Wow.
And she was the first self-made female millionaire in history.
That's incredible.
And we're talking about American dollars, so like if y'all jump in here with like an African queen who had piles and piles of gold, okay, fine. Yeah. She may not have been the first self-made female millionaire in terms of value, but the first self-made female millionaire in terms of American dollars.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. Like, I don't, like, what a horrible start for her, and for her to find motivation and drive to even want to do that.
I mean, I'm inspired.
I'm inspired, because, I mean, like, at the time I was listening to the beginning, I'm like, okay, how does she become a millionaire? Oh my God.
Like, how intense. Like, she fought and fought hard.
Like, that wasn't an easy journey.
Not
Absolutely
at all.
not. There were so many other ways that her life could have gone.
Oh, so many ways.
So many ways. And, like, no wonder her granddaughter today is like, people need to hear this story.
No, exactly.
That's an amazing story. Like,
no,
thank
exactly.
you to, what was the name?
So her granddaughter's name is Alelia. And but the website is madamcjwalker.com, and I strongly recommend everybody go check it out. It's really great.
I wonder if there's like pictures of her as well uploaded.
Yes, yes, exactly. So you know, that's essentially her story. In 1919, at the age of 52, Madam C.J. Walker did sadly pass from kidney failure. But listen to this. She left 2/3 of her company's future net profits to charity.
2/3.
So she said, so even like for her daughter coming up, she's like, all right, I left you enough to get started in life, but you're not just going to take over this business and just profit off of all my work. That's going back to the community.
Wow. And we see time and time again, so many people like want to gain success and make money and wealth, and they hoard it. And
they just keep it.
They keep it. I mean, they billions and millions of dollars that they just have in their bank account and are not doing anything with, that they hold. Oh, I want to make sure my family's successful.
Your family's fine.
Your family is fine.
They were fine $2 billion ago.
$20 billion ago. I mean, like, for real, like, why are you hoarding this when there's so much good you could do with it?
Exactly. Like, she had the bestie energy. She knew what was important in life, and she really said, like, future profits, no, you can't have it. It's going to charity.
That's actually so incredible that she made the decision to do that before she died, to like make sure that there was going to be no like greedy kind of thing coming from it. Like they were gonna donate. That's
exactly.
Awesome.
And on top of that, so on top of leaving her company's future net profits to charity, she left thousands and thousands of dollars to schools.
Yes. She knew how important that was.
She knew how important education was. She was such an advocate for education.
So important. Like, knowledge is power. It's so true. Knowledge is power. If you're not given the opportunity to like know words, like if we didn't have a word for human rights, how would you know it existed? How would you know that racism existed if we didn't even have a word for it? That like all of these different things even existed.
Yeah, like and even with like representation, like if you don't give people the opportunity to get out and be educated by people who are successful and see that success, like they're never going to imagine it for themselves. I mean, they might, but like for the most part, in general,
that representation is so important.
So important. And so, I mean, that's pretty much sum total of her story. Her legacy is carried on by her great-great-granddaughter, Alelia Bundles, and has written her grandmother's biography and keeps her alive on the website. So I strongly encourage everybody to go check it out. I know I've already said that, but really amazing story. I am hugely inspired by this woman.
Me too. Just my main takeaway is the way that she was inspired and motivated by so many other Black women, and then in turn used that to inspire thousands of other Black women and Black men and help the community. So that's awesome.
Exactly. I think we can all learn how to have better bestie energy from C.J. Walker.
We also can all realize that small things make a difference, you know?
Yes.
Checking in on your friends, like, how are you doing? Like, there's very little things, like, just, hey, how are you doing today? Or, like, you look beautiful today. Like, very small things that do make a very big difference, or motivating people around you.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's really incredible that she kept up that strength through her whole life. Like,
she never lost sight of it. Yeah.
No, exactly. She lost her parents. She was abused. She lost her husband. She divorced her second husband. She was a single mom. Like,
oh my gosh,
it was amazing. That's amazing. What a powerful woman.
I'm so glad you shared that with me and everybody, because I'm like I said, it's not something that we're commonly taught. Like I don't think anybody really that I've talked to like knows that much of that story. Like
I had never heard of it.
If anything, like if people know of her, I doubt they know all of those details about her.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
I had honestly never heard of her before. I came across her name in a book recently, and so yeah, no, absolutely incredible. So thank you for joining us for another episode of Bestie Energy. Again, go join the Patreon. Yes. Episodes will be released early, ad-free.
And maybe we'll put some like bloopers or something in there too.
Yeah, we do have bloopers. We may or may not have talked crap about Ariana Grande and then decided to delete it out of here. Because we're scared.
Oh man, not the Arianators.
Yeah, no, don't come for us. Don't come for us. But yeah. Follow us on all socials at bestieenergythepod, and we hope to see you again soon, besties.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye. That was fun.
That was good. That came out good. I'm fucking hungry.